How is everyone doing? This is take two. I don't know what happened there with the first round, but I think we might have ourselves a power issue since I got notifications that the USB ports were being overloaded. So I swapped some things around and we're going to see how this works because that was a first for me. We are behind on the workout, so I think I'm just going to jump right into warm-ups. I do need to get this workout in today, and as people trickle in, maybe we will get in a normal streaming rhythm here. Okay, excellent. Chat is still working. We're gonna roll with it. How is everyone doing today? I am doing good. It's Friday here, and it's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good day. I got done all my work for the day, so I'm not gonna complain. And as I had said, we're gonna get in some squats today. We have a lot of squats to do. We have a total of 8 sets. So I'm gonna get everything warmed up, which I kind of already did, but I cooled down as I was dealing with the technical issues. But we're still in good shape. All right. Get back into a rhythm. So, it's been a busy week. I've had a lot going on. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I spent at a particularly difficult job. For anyone who doesn't know, I do flooring for a living, and this week we had a lived-in unit, which is different than our typical vacant units. The only difference is one unit is vacant, there's nothing in it, no one is renting it, and in a lived-in unit, people are living in it. And usually they have quite a bit of personal belongings, which makes installing the floor, which is on the ground, and all their stuff is on the floor, a lot more difficult to do. So we have to shuffle everything around and install in between all of their stuff. It's quite the pain in the arse, but as we always say here, anything can be solved with a positive attitude and more money. This lady had lived in her apartment for 18 years. And anyone out there who's lived in a place for any meaningful amount of time knows that you accrue a heck of a lot of crap. In 18 years specifically. So, yeah, she had a lot of stuff, to say the least. But that's all right. Okay. We're squatting today. We're warmed up. We're not going to do any more warming up. I did that during the first stream here that crashed on me. We're doing 8 sets in total of squats today, which sounds a little ridiculous. But we're going to do 6 sets for 2 reps at 345 pounds. So we're just going to get warming up. We'll add a plate here and kind of get things rolling. Otherwise, how was everyone else's week? Did anyone get up to anything fun? I did do some fun things this week. for sure. It's been busy, but we did do some fun things this week. Feels good. Feels good. Yeah, so last stream was on Friday. What's happened since then and now? Saturday, we worked all day. We floored in the day, and we had a bar shift in the evening. Sunday, we did a little bit of work on Sunday, and then a little bit of running around. We actually ended up going to look for a new oven. Who out there has ever had to replace an oven? Because this is my second time replacing an oven in 2 years that I've lived at this new house. The very first time we replaced the oven, it was probably within 3 months of living here. We knew the oven wasn't good when we bought the house, so we were expecting to have to replace it at some point in time. But we ended up replacing it with a used one. We paid about $400 for it to save ourselves some money. And that's all good. We got a year out of it. But just the other day, I guess that would have been, I think that was actually Saturday. Yeah, that would have been Saturday. I got home from flooring. I had about 2 hours in between flooring and the bar. And I knew that I had some free time that I wanted to utilize. So I decided to meal prep. I threw in about 8 chicken breasts into the oven and about 2 pounds of ground beef on the stove. And it went fine for the first little bit. I went to go flip the chicken after about 10-12 minutes. Set the timer again. And I came back after that timer had expired. And the chicken was still pink on the top, in the middle. Which was weird because after 20 minutes, the chicken should be pretty darn close, if not done. So fine, I threw it in for another 5 to 8 minutes, I think. Left, came back. Same thing. I take a look at the temperature. Temperature's trending down. The ground beef on the stovetop is not cooking in the slightest. And it turned out that the oven was just kaput. I spent the next half an hour unplugging, plugging back in, flipping breakers, trying to figure out what was going on. But long story short, the oven was toast and dang near all of that meal prep was lost. I was able to salvage the chicken by throwing it in the air fryer, but the ground beef didn't make it. The ground beef did not make it, unfortunately. So, is what it is, I guess. How's everything looking here? We should be in pretty good shape. I think we can update our thumbnail again here. Oh, that looks way better. That looks way better. But we're going to change that to our thumbnail that we made because, well, why not? We made it. We might as well use it. We are going to have to switch this up to what it was before, technically, though, because that live button is in front of the date. Okay. We are cruising. Let's get some more warm-up sets in. $185, feeling pretty good. It should, considering we're Squatting nearly double that today. Suppose I didn't really need to clip up quite yet, but it's all good. It's all good. So we got our new oven today. We bought it last Sunday, but we couldn't get it delivered until Friday. Crossbow, wicked big calves, guy. Heck yeah they are. Heck yeah they are. The knee sleeves barely fit over them. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by the stream. We're gonna keep on making our way up here. We're heading to 345 pounds today, and we're gonna do 6 sets of 2. Get that cord out of the way. Hope you're having a good Friday. This is actually round 2 at me trying to get this stream up and running. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my stream crashed on me today, unfortunately, but that's alright. We just reset everything, got it back up and running. This is only our 3rd live stream, actually, so we're still getting a lot of the bugs worked out. But last Friday went pretty well. We had a pretty good group of chatters in. Good way to spend a Friday evening. But yeah, I got a new oven today. So they dropped it off, they took out the old one, they installed the new one. Alyssa was happy with that. And on top of that, we were actually sweating because last night our AC went out. We got home from volleyball. We play volleyball every Thursday night. And we went to the we walked right in actually, and we could feel the temperature was higher than it should be. It's been pretty warm here. Pretty much in the 30s or high 20s every day. It's degrees Celsius. I don't know the Fahrenheit conversions if you're on Fahrenheit there, Crossbow. And yeah, we went over to the thermostat and the AC was not firing, which was concerning. So we gave a call to the AC people today, and we were expecting a pretty expensive fix. But it turns out that it was just a capacitor, and it only cost us $174. So we thought we made out pretty good there. All right, let's maybe belt up. We'll get a couple more warm-up sets here as we get up to our working weight, and then we're cruising. So I think we'll go to 315 from here, maybe 335, and then start taking our doubles at 345. And then volleyball was actually quite the scene yesterday, considering it was raining like heck actually. Our team's quite a bit of fun actually, so it'll happen a few times a year. It rains quite a bit. We kind of play rain or shine with this volleyball league, but every now and then when we get that rain, our team just won't let it bug us, and we'll just keep things rolling, which makes for a pretty good time. So it was pouring. All the other teams really weren't having a good time because playing beach volleyball in crappy weather is not the best of time. But like I said, we weren't letting it bother us. One of our friends was actually visiting us from back home. He had come up. He owns a house here and is looking to sell, so he's been doing some renos there, getting it ready for sale. And he came and watched us play volleyball, and we tied one on. We had a few pitchers of beer. And yeah, it was pouring rain. We had our tarps off, and it was a pretty good time. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So this is actually the first belted workout I've had in a few weeks. I've just made a short this past week about how much less belted training I've been doing since working with my coach. And it's been a good thing, but now I'm eager to see if adding the belt back into training is going to make it feel easier, because I'm hoping that's the case. Nope. I'm out of practice too here. My camera angles are all off. Ugh. Alright, almost there. We'll add another 10 on each side, getting us to 335. And then we'll take her for one last set. And then we'll go. Bit rate still not good. You can just not show bit rate, hey? Interesting. The average stream bit rate is a bit too high. Still not too sure how to fix that, but so this first time chatter. Anyone know why the fitness and health category has a picture of a corgi with it? Seems a little unusual, right? Because I think a corgi might be the least fit dog I've ever seen. One of my best friends has had 2 corgis. And actually, I don't know, maybe they are fit. They just don't look fit. Great dogs, though. Okay, last warm-up. I think we're going to wear some wristbands even. Wrist wraps, rather. Whew. All right. Well, I guess we should add the last 10 pounds and then we're there. £345. That'll be our top weight for the day. We'll do 6 sets of 2. So that'll take up the next half hour for sure, but it'll give us a good opportunity to do some chatting. If any of you have any fitness related questions, any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I have some ideas of things I want to talk about. Because I was actually going to talk about these. If you've never seen these before, these are wrist wraps. These ones are SBD. They're the short version. There is longer as well too. And these are the stiff, as opposed to the extra stiff. Now they're pretty cool. They're going to give your wrists extra support, give you some extra stability for things like bench pressing as well as squatting. And there's a few things that you have to know about them. One is just how to put them on. They have this thumb loop here. And what you're going to do is you're going to line it up so that the red part is facing the back of your hand. You're going to wrap it over the back end of your hand first. Wrap it nice and tight. I like to do it so about 1/4 inch is above the crease of the bottom of my hand. And then you unhook the thumb loop. You have to unhook the thumb loop because the thumb loop, or the fabric of the wrist wrap, is not allowed to make contact with the bar when you're squatting, when you're bench pressing, as per the rule book. And that's how you put on wrist wraps. How about we get our first set in here? I'll set up my camera so that we can send our videos to the coach. We're gonna have to check up on RuneScape buddies because I have a sneaking suspicion that he is slacking. All right, one down. 5 more to go. How'd that look to you guys? Looks like a squat, I bet. Oh, you guys can't even see our RuneScape buddy. Of course not, he's slacking. Get him back up and running. Again, the goal is to get him to level 70 tonight, which I definitely think is possible. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. I still don't necessarily know what... Yeah, it's gotta be. They gotta be aggro again. I talked to my friend a little about it, and my understanding is there's just a perimeter that once you leave that perimeter and come back, those crabs are angry at you again. But I feel like I'm running to the same spots and sometimes that isn't happening. So obviously I got something wrong. I don't think we need... Can we lock that in? Complete linking device. Let's bring up the OBSBot camera. Should be connected. Connect. Camera 2. Auto framing will pull off. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. Probably screwed it up when I was putting on the wrist wraps there. It's pretty smoky here today in Regina. We're having some air quality issues. I don't know how you folks are doing where you're at. But about noon today, smoke started rolling in. I went out, took a step outside for lunch, and smoke was just covering the air, so it's pretty nasty. We have the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I'm pretty sure they're playing a game tonight, and by the sounds of it, the game's going to be delayed. So yeah, and we played volleyball yesterday. I've been doing quite a bit of activity. I've been working out 3 times a week. I've been playing volleyball once a week. I've been playing golf. I've been working out 3 times a week, been playing golf once a week, and I've been playing volleyball once a week. So 5 days a week we are doing something fairly active. Ooh. Browser Big Bean Burrito. Got a mustache. Maybe a goatee. How's it going, buddy? I hope you're having a good Friday night. But yeah, we were playing volleyball yesterday, and it was raining like heck. How our league's set up is you get to play 3 games. And there's 1 court, and there's 3 teams. So let's say Team A and B play game 1, Team A and C play game 2, and then Team C and B play game 3. And you just go through that rotation. So it was our turn this week to have the middle game off. And when we have the middle game off, it's a good time, but it's also a little dangerous because it is a drinking league. So what happens is we play that first game for 45 minutes, then we have a rest for 45 minutes, and then we play a third game, or a second game in the third set for 45 minutes. And that middle period, it was just raining and we had nothing better to do than just crush pitchers. We had friends from out of town visiting us, so it was a pretty good time. The other teams weren't having a good time. They'd probably rather not be there given how much rain we had, because it was raining pretty good. But we didn't let it bother us, and we kind of just kept on rolling. So for those of you who just joined the stream, we're squatting, we're working out today. I got 345 pounds on the bar, and we're going to be doing 6 sets total. I got 5 more to go, so lots of squatting left. If you haven't been to the stream before and this is your first time, thanks for stopping in. This is only my second week streaming and posting to Twitch and YouTube, so still kind of getting a rhythm for things, but it's been a pretty good time. All right, that's 2 sets down. And 4 more to go. Ugh. And our RuneScape buddy's still swinging away. Are you guys RuneScape people? Have you ever played RuneScape before? You recognize this? No, I will not talk to you, mysterious old man. Leave me alone. A needy old man, that guy. But we can just ignore him. Golf was also a rough time this week. Very, very warm. It went from one extreme to the next. It went very, very warm Wednesday, nothing but sun, to really rainy on Thursday. I golfed like crap, and I was ready to get out of there by the end of the round. I was being a little bit grumpy pants about it, but we'll get them next week. Sometimes it's nice to have a bad week, because how golf works in this league is they handicap you. So if you have some higher scoring weeks, it kind of helps you out with your handicap. And make sure you're in a group that you're competitive with. So, well, what else? Friday night's always our sushi day. Who of you out there like sushi? Listen, I eat sushi every Friday pretty much, and our hot take is wasabi is the best sushi in town. I have a couple friends that give me a hard time for saying that, but I'll die on that hill. White people sushi is basically what I call it. Because is it very authentic? No, not really. but it's also good, so who the heck cares? So I definitely forgot to record the first half hour of the stream, so hopefully I can load up the stream from the YouTube link. I know my clip program can do that through YouTube, but it's been having issues doing that, so they've been asking that we upload a file in the meantime, which I will be able to do, but the first half hour of this stream will be lost in the archives. I think I could probably screen record it from YouTube and figure it out that way. Shouldn't be too tough. I can probably pull that off. How close is RuneScape, buddy? 23,000 away from level 70. Not bad. So that chat. Yeah, where the heck is that? Very annoying. Very annoying. I guess we can see it pop up still. We'll check back periodically. Nothing we can do about it now. Unless... what if I bring it all the way over to here, raise you up, and then bring you all the way back here. Haha! Absolute genius. Okay, cool. I think we need a couple more minutes rest. It is still fairly heavy. We'll be halfway through after this one, which will be nice. So yeah, I'll keep on talking about it. One thing I'm actually excited about with this training that I've been doing here is I've been training beltless now for a few weeks. And we just recently added the belt back in, and we've started increasing the weight. So I'm really hoping that all that beltless training is going to really have an impact. And now that we've added this belt back in, that things should start feeling easier, that I've built up a little bit more core strength, or control, whatever you want to call it, don't really matter. And I can definitely tell my depth is better. I've been doing more pause work in the bottom of the squat, and that's been feeling good. So all these little technical changes and variations that we've been doing is certainly helping. There we go. Now RuneScape Buddy is no longer working. Do we think if I streamed to the RuneScape category that people would watch this? Probably wouldn't watch this. Hey, this isn't very entertaining RuneScape content. But I also feel like the RuneScape community could very well be the kind of people to enjoy workouts. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tough to tell if you guys aren't RuneScape people and you're here for the fitness, I suppose, hey? Okay. So set 3 at 345 pounds, that'll put us at the halfway mark. We'll get our wrist wraps back on. Doubles are delightful. All right, so we're halfway through it. We're gonna start the timer. We're gonna take a 4-minute rest period. And we're gonna sit and talk about the cameras. Have a hard time focusing on me, it feels like. Yeah, there we go. I wonder why. One thing about mixing up your reps and sets is that you get a good idea as to what type of reps and sets you like. So I know that 3 and under, I love. 4 and over, take it or leave it. The joke is in powerlifting though, anything above 5 is cardio. So for all you bodybuilders and general populations trainees out there, that might be weird to hear, but in powerlifting, we often use it as an excuse to not do too many reps, which is why you're seeing me do doubles today. But we're still getting our work in. I think I could probably use a little bit more water though. Halfway through the squats, 3 sets to go. And then after that, we'll do some back off sets. And then we'll move on into some bench press. Hope anyone out there is having a good Friday. Hope you had a good work week. If you're working this weekend, sorry to hear. But I'll join you tomorrow. I'm definitely working Saturday. I'm actually working a double. And we'll see about Sunday. I tell myself I want to work Sunday, and I usually find an excuse to talk myself out of it and take it off, because if I don't end up taking Sunday off, that is usually my only day off of the week, so I'll probably end up taking Sunday off. I'd like to go to Costco with the fiance, spend some money there, because Lord knows you can't get out of Costco without spending too much money. We're going to do something different with bench today. We're going to be doing a legs up bench actually, which will be cool. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get there. But basically what that is that's just lifting your feet off the ground, extending them out below the bench, and that eliminates leg drive from the movement. So it's a great way to make sure that your balance is really good, because you're also a lot less stable with the legs up bench press. You know, if you're off kilter just a little bit, you tend to lean because you don't have your feet there stabilizing yourself. You won't be able to handle as much weight, but that's fine. That helps a little bit with recovery. You can still get a good training stimulus with a lighter weight, because it is still challenging to the system, and it is the pressing movement pattern, so that'll carry over to your regular bench pressing. Give her another 30 seconds or so here. While we're at it, what do we think about this here chat box? I updated that from previous weeks. I was using a program called Caster Labs. for the first couple streams that I did, but I've seen this one used by a few people, and I think it looks a lot cleaner. Looks a little bit more fun because you got the images and stuff like that on there. And yeah, overall, I liked the size of the font as well too. But my biggest problem with Caster Labs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I couldn't figure it out, there was a lot of system messages and just system updates on there that was cluttering the chat, and you couldn't get rid of it, or at least I wasn't smart enough to get rid of it. Whereas with this chat right here, it seemed to be pretty straightforward. Although the setup for this one was a heck of a lot tougher. I screwed it up a few times, but once we got it up and running, I'm much happier with this particular chat. All right, enough talking. All right, 4 sets down. Little toot there if you could hear it. So yeah, I talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the stream that crashed, but I did a particularly tough flooring job to start the week. It was 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday it ended up taking me. And it was a lived-in unit. And what that means is people are still living in it. Usually we're dealing with vacant units where someone's moved out, the flooring isn't in good condition, they send us in to replace it. That's best case scenario, that's what we're doing more often than not. But in this case, this lady had been there for 18 years rather, and she had accrued a heck of a lot of crap. So we had to move a ton of stuff, and we had to do it room by room. And they had friggin' reptiles, they had 2 snakes, they had a gecko, they had 2 cats. It was a lot. But their cat was adorable. His name was Eddie. And apparently that was from, ooh, they're gonna get mad at me. Twilight people, Edward. I don't know his last name, but Edward from Twilight. They named him Eddie because of his fangs, which I thought was kind of cute. But we didn't set the timer. Guys gotta remind me to set the timer. 2 more sets to go. Bucket of sand. I don't think we need sand. So I wonder if the power issue that I had earlier was surge related. Or if it had something to do with the actual ports. I wouldn't know. Down to 15,000 remaining. We are getting there. We are getting there. This guy's trying to steal my crabs. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get your own crabs. Take off the belt for a second here and show off this t-shirt. So I got this t-shirt at Nationals, Powerlifting Nationals, Canadian Powerlifting Union Nationals at the time. The Canadian Powerlifting Union has since changed their name to Canada Powerlifting, CanPL. But this was an awesome time. Last minute they had a few volunteers unable to make it, and they were looking for people to announce, which I actually jumped on. I thought that that would be a pretty good time. And basically what I did as announcer is I would announce the lifters coming in as they began their attempts by introducing their name and the weight lifted, as well as if they were attempting a national or provincial record. Now, they weren't tracking provincial records at this meet because it was a national meet, but typically you would announce that. As well as provide a little bit of color commentary about how powerlifting works and explaining the rules and the going-ons of the session to the crowd, just to explain things to make it a better viewing experience. It was a heck of a time. I actually made a little video on it and posted it to Instagram, so you could go back and take a look at that if you did want to see it. I loved it. I'd love to get to do it again. One day I'd like to compete there, but Nationals is probably not in my wheelhouse for quite some time. We'd have to make hell of a lot of improvement. Let's maybe do Westerns before we can do Nationals. Let's put it that way. Not too many people chatting today. I wonder why. It's all good though. I'll just talk to myself. That's what we're supposed to do when we start out, right? Just talk to yourself. Well, we're about an hour in, and I think I could probably do my second last squat set here. And I say that without that really being the truth, because we are going to do some back off work, so not really my second last squat set, is it now? Oh, come on. Oh. That left leg's a little shaky. Left leg's a little shaky. Oh. All right, we got one left. We got one left. And then what are we doing? I think we said we were doing 295 after for 2 sets of 4. Does that sound right? I think that sounds right. 2 sets of 4 at 135 kilos, which I believe is 295. Call it 300. 297 and a half. Beltless though, I think. Beltless. Beltless. So we're doing back off sets 2x4 at 295, call it 300, beltless. Gonna have to keep the energy up. I'm gonna be here all night. A little bit of caffeine would have been nice. I'm all out of pre-workout. Don't really have much other caffeine in the house, which a little bit of a problem. At the very least, we'll keep the water flowing. May not be caffeinated, but water's still good for you. The beard is definitely going to need a trim pretty shortly here. My barber went solo, starting her own operation several months ago. Beginning of this year, basically. But the issue is she's a good barber, and she basically brought all her clients with her. And availability is really, really tough to get to her. Like, if you want to book a week or two out, it's not happening. You gotta be booking 3-4 weeks out, and I'm not really used to that yet. I just forget. Whatever. And I went to book today, or the day before rather, and I think I couldn't get in until July 31st. So the hair is going to get really long. I guess that's 20 days away. That's basically 3 weeks away still. So hair is going to be long. Beard, I can trim up the beard a little bit, but she just does a way better job, so it's going to be bothering me for at least the next few streams, that's for sure. But if any of you get a hairdresser or a barber that you like, you know it's impossible to leave them because you're really happy with how they do it, and it's always annoying to get someone else to figure it out. A little more expensive, a little harder to get to, but whatever. It's come on, ObsBot. We said auto framing. I wish I could just freeze that. Gotta be able to freeze that. If anyone knows how to freeze the field of view for the ObsBot camera, let me know. Remote control more. Global hotkeys. I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Oh well. Oh well. Let's get our last set in of squats. Yeah. Clear the board. We'll put away the belt. I think I'm also probably gonna have to come up with something to eat after this, because I'm definitely gonna be hungry. Oh boy. We're already yawning. Not good. All right. Okay, we're loaded up there for our next 2 sets. We'll do sets of 4. Hello, Mr. Fancy Camera. Thank you, Huffle. How are you doing tonight? It's good to see you again. The fancy camera is still here. You're living? Ain't that the truth? I've had a rough week too. Rough is maybe not the word. It was a challenging week. Lots of work. I had to replace my stove. I had to fix my air conditioner. Rained like heck yesterday for volleyball. I golfed like crap on Wednesday. It's been a busy week, but lots going on. How about you? Anything in particular? Nope, work. Yeah, I'm heading back to work tomorrow. Coffee this late at night? I am just doing water. Probably, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you guys can see. Probably could use a coffee, honestly. I was actually just complaining about not having any caffeine. Sometimes I do some pre-workout for this. Just a half scoop just to kind of energize the first half of the workout. I have a decent amount of caffeine throughout the day, so pretty sensitive. I'm not very sensitive to caffeine, so I can have caffeine later in the evening and not have it affect me too much. What kind of work you do, Huffle? Also had the stream crash to start off today, so I don't know what was going on. It had some type of power output issue with my USB ports, which was kind of annoying. Sorry, it was being chased by a creeper. You're in retail. Oh, that's an ugly situation. That's certainly an ugly situation. Retail's tough enough without crazy customers, but that's something else. You're safe though, outside of having to be uncomfortable at work? No. Minecraft. I don't know anything about Minecraft. I know what the game looks like, and I know you build it while you're in there, but I actually haven't spent any time watching or figuring out Minecraft, to tell you the honest truth. Lucky you. Okay, let's get our first set of squats in here, or well, first set of our back offs. We have two more sets of squats, and then we'll move on to bench press. We've done enough squatting today. This will be our 7th set in total. That felt nice. That felt good. Felt better than the belted squats, honestly. You wish you never started Minecraft? Yeah, some of those games can be a time sink. Something like RuneScape, though. I wish I never started RuneScape as well, because I've sunk way too much time into this game. What kind of stuff do you like to build in Minecraft, though? Any themed stuff? I see some videos like that every now and then. I'm really into Pokemon, and I've seen a couple people make some, like, Pokemon-style servers, I think is the right word for it. Those look pretty cool. But, again, I'm a Pokemon fan. I just like to dig. I get behind that, too. Hector Zeroni just likes to dig holes. Do you recognize that name? Depending on how old you are, I suppose. I actually play D&D with my friends We try and do at least one Sunday every 3 weeks. We've been a little bad during summer, but my character is a barbarian, and he also likes to dig holes. I just randomly go digging holes when we have downtime, trying to find treasure and crap like that, or just to pass the time, because my barbarian grew up in the mines, so reminds him of home and simpler times. How close are we to finishing up this? 8,000 more until we level up. That's good. That's good. Didn't set my timer either. I think we'll do a 2-minute rest period, I suppose. Let's call it that. And thank God we're done squatting. I thought that was never going to end. 4 sets of bench and then 3 sets of incline bench. We got a lot of work left to do still. Well, we're going to be here till at least 10, I think. But that's alright. Got to get the work in, and then we'll get a Sunday workout in. We'll do some deadlifting. Probably won't stream that workout, though. We'll just focus on getting it done. Are you into working out at all, Huffle? I don't remember if I asked you in the first stream. But yeah, we did the first, what did we do? The first 6 sets of squatting with a belt, and these last 2, we took the belt off. And what I'm noticing is I actually feel really good without the belt. My positioning feels better. That belt kind of gets in the way of your torso from sinking deep into a squat a little bit is what I'm feeling. But kind of need it for heavier weights as well too. I'm still recovering after surgery, so I can't do too much for at least another month. Hey, that's fair. It's got to get recovered first. I was starting to exercise as a novice, and then my gallbladder decided it hated what I was doing. Ugh. Yep, got to get that taken care of. I've been fairly healthy myself, so I can't complain too much, but that's not ideal. So I assume gallbladder, they just have to take out a gallbladder? Did they just have to remove your gallbladder? That's probably what they would do with that, hey? I don't know if they keep those all the time. Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot to get my last set recorded for Coach. He would have yelled at me. Whew. That was a close one. Yeah. All right. That's it for squats. Thank goodness. Yeah, it was removed. Yeah. That kind of sucks. Is what it is. I guess, like, you don't really technically need your gallbladder, is what they say. But I'm no doctor. Who designed my logo? That's a good question. I love telling that story. So I actually designed my logo. It was back when I was a lot younger. I was working at a bar at the time. And how the logo works is this is meant to be an A for all Hart. And obviously the heart is worked into the A. And I had drawn up the logo on a napkin, and I took it over to my off-sale employee who worked for me at the bar at the time. And he was in graphic design school. And he did his homework from his laptop behind the off-sale window. And off-sale here in Saskatchewan is where they sell booze. And he basically did it for me at his computer. I paid him for it. It was relatively affordable because he was just a student, and I've been using it ever since. Definitely Zelda inspired, but people tend to like it. I've been pretty proud of it. It's got its pros and cons. Doesn't work very well in certain circumstances. Again, I'm not a graphic designer, so I never considered certain things when I was designing the logo, but as a primary logo on a black or white backdrop, it looks pretty good in my opinion. Get this weight stripped off and we'll get the bench rolling. Like to get my knee sleeves off too. It's enough time in these. Let's just leave these here because I'll need them for bench. And yeah, we're going to be doing, I guess we're going to be doing 2 different bench press variations today. We're technically not doing our competition bench. We are going to be doing legs up bench press, where your legs are up off the floor, extended out down past the seat of the bench. And then we're going to be doing incline bench, which we did last week, just not on stream. Maybe we'll even leave the shoes off for the bench press. That sounds like a good plan to me. Feet aren't even going to be on the ground anyway. Then we'll put our shoes back on for incline. Because yeah, basically, with the legs up bench press, you're going to have your legs extended down, up off the ground, below the bottom of the seat. And what that does for you is, one, you're not going to be able to handle as heavy of load. And you're going to have to really have good balance and technique to your lift, because without your feet being able to stabilize yourself on the ground, it's very easy to get off balance. So you can still get a really good training stimulus without really affecting your recovery the same way a regular competition bench would, because you'd be lifting more weight with that. So great exercise to sprinkle into your training on an off bench day to still get in some pressing. And I guess I just gotta check how much I'm supposed to be lifting. Who designed your load? Is this your split tonight? Is this what your coach designed? Yeah, absolutely. So with powerlifting training, I'm only doing 3 days a week right now. If you're doing 4 days a week, a lot of time you'll do upper, lower, and kind of spread out things. But when you're doing only 3 days a week, you kind of need to be able to do full body training every single time you come into the gym, because you need to be pressing a few times a week, you need to be squatting a couple times a week, you need to be deadlifting a couple times a week to really drive your numbers up and get enough volume and intensity over the week to continue to get stronger. So this is what he has planned for us. We did 6 sets of heavy doubles, we did 2 sets of 4s on squat, and now we're going to be doing 4 sets of 5 on bench press, this legs up bench press, and then after that's done, we'll do 3 sets of 8 on our incline bench press. And then we have some more accessories after that, but as far as primary movements, squatting and benching variations, that's what we're doing today. My coach actually is really involved in the powerlifting community here in Saskatchewan. He owns a gym maybe not owns a gym, I'd have to clarify that. He has quite a bit to do with the gym in Weyburn. I do think he owns at least part of it. And he coaches a lot of athletes in the Saskatchewan Powerlifting Association. There's actually another referee that he coaches, who I work with often as a referee for powerlifting. So we all like him. He does really good work. Oh, and I was supposed to check how much I'm supposed to lift. 78 kilos. 78 kilos, 172 and a half pounds. So I guess we'll just throw this guy on. Yeah. You know what, I barely know kilos too. That's one weird thing about Canada. So yeah, we pick and choose where we use metric all the time. As far as body weight and height, we actually usually go imperial. So like when someone asks me how tall I am, I say I'm 5'9". I don't say whatever I am in centimeters. When someone asks me how much I weigh, I say I'm 195 pounds. I generally won't say how much I am in kilograms. But the sport of powerlifting is an international sport for the most part. So that we do in kilos simply because one day powerlifting really has aspirations of being an Olympic event. So if you see Olympic lifting, if you see Olympic boxing, things like that, they all operate in kilos for weight classes or weights and things like that. That's why we use kilos in powerlifting, because in everyday life around Canada, we actually don't use metric for weight, which is kind of weird. But like I said, we pick and choose where we use our metric system. Appreciate you coming and hanging out this Friday night. Anyone else out there just watching, thanks for joining the stream. Again, I like saying that this is new for me. This is only my second week streaming to Twitch and YouTube here, so if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. If my volume isn't that great, if the cameras aren't that great, I'll work on improving it as we go along here. If you have any questions, I have been involved in fitness for quite some time. I was talking about having a coach, but I choose to have a coach because I generally get better training. I have been a coach myself. I was a personal trainer and the general manager of one of Canada's biggest box gyms here. We had about 1,800 members. I personal trained over 100 clients in my time with the company, so I've directed powerlifting meets. I'm still coaching in the powerlifting union right now. I'm a certified referee, so I have quite a bit of information to share with you or bounce ideas off. But we might as well do some lifting. All right, what did I say? 172.5. Okay, let's just add that last little bit of weight and then we'll be on to our working sets. I rather like the legs up bench press. Like probably any bench press, who doesn't? Good for mere muscles. I think I'll show these guys off while I'm here. Who's ever seen one of these? So this is a 1.25 pound weight. Most gyms, the smallest weight that you're going to see is a 2.5 pound weight. So you throw 2.5 pounds on each side, and that's a 5 pound increase. The nice part about a 1.25 is that it's a smaller jump. Eventually, if you're training long enough, a 5 pound jump is too big to make. So a lot of people will start lifting, whether that be for a month, a few months, and they'll reach a plateau. They'll stop making progress. They won't be able to add weight to the bar, and they're confused as to why that's happened. Well, there's a few different reasons why that can be the case, but one of the reasons might be that you're taking too big of jumps, and often that'll happen first on the bench press as opposed to the squat and the deadlift, because the squat and the deadlift are using bigger muscles. They're stronger. The bench press is using, sorry, did I say that backwards? The squat and deadlift are using larger muscles. therefore they can lift more weight. The bench press is using smaller muscles, so you can't take as big a jumps with the bench press. Eventually 5 pounds is going to be too much, but a 2.5 pound jump is very realistic. So they're very nice weights to have around the gym, and I actually would carry some in my bag with me very often because you'd need them. Okay, let's set up the camera. We'll take video so that we can send that to coach. And what we're doing here is we are doing a total of 4 sets of 5. Pretty standard stuff. Camera's not wanting to track today. Oh, I don't even have it on me. That's all right. Sorry about that, guys. I'll switch it to the gym view next set. Forgot to change the camera view. We have a much better camera view of the gym there. We could have been hanging out here, but that's all right. Almost need a button on my person I can just hit, maybe on a watch or something like that would be nice. And then that way, if I ever realized I forgot to do it, I could do it when I'm out in the middle of the gym. But that's all right. Yeah, that actually feels pretty good. Doesn't feel too heavy. We'll take shorter rest periods for that. I think 3 minutes is probably enough. I don't think we need any more than that. But yeah. How far in are we now? I think we're about 4 weeks into the training program. So things haven't quite started getting super heavy yet, which is nice. I think we finally picked a meet day, and that's going to be Last Chance Meet is what it's called. It's held in Moose Jaw at the end of the year. It's called Last Chance because it's the last chance of getting in a meet before the end of the year. So obviously that makes sense. So I think we're going to have a nice long runway to get in a lot of good training. We'll be able to train right into December, which will be nice. And hopefully be able to put together a good day and have a successful meet. It's been many years since I put in the amount of effort into training to actually feel accomplished on meet day. I've kind of half-assed my training over the last couple meets, so this one's the meet that's going to count. So Huffle, if you're still out there, I'm kind of curious. When you first joined the stream, were you searching fitness and health streams? Was I just on a random page? What made you click into the stream is my question, I guess. Because this is also your second time here. So you might have, yeah, you followed the first time, I guess, hey? So you probably would have got a notification, or you would have been on, or you you would have been following me for this time around, but what about the first time? Do you remember what jumped out at you, or what you saw that made you click into the stream on that first time? I'll get in my second set while we're waiting. Oh, and I better set up my magnets. Do one there. And I think I said 4 sets of 5, right? I think that's what I said. All right, 2 down. You were looking for fitness and health? Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that's good to know. Good to know that of the people in the fitness and health category that I stuck out enough for you to click into it. You like to follow new streamers? Yeah, well, I'm as new as it gets, basically. 2 weeks in. And I imagine we'll stay small for quite some time. If not forever. Which is fine. I feel like my workouts wouldn't be very productive if I had a whole slog of people in here. Oh, all it takes is one raid? We shall see. It is a fair point. I know I talked about it on the first stream that you were on, but I stole this streaming idea from one of my friends who used to work with me out in Calgary at again, that big box gym that I used to work at. And he set up a stream like this, and he did pretty good, but he eventually kind of fizzled out and stopped streaming, which is fine. I imagine it'd be pretty tough to do forever, but he had a good following, but it was small, and he did it for a couple years, I want to say. Look at this, we're gonna get there. 1,928 experience remaining before level 70. And with you recovering from the surgery, would you say you're eager to get back to training, or are you more apprehensive and you know, cautious about it? Are you looking forward to it or not so much, I guess, is my question. Eager yet cautious. Yeah, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah, you just start light. I guess if the gallbladder is gone, then I guess there'd be a part of me that would want to believe that that isn't going to be an issue moving forward. I know when they cut into abdomen and you cut open that tissue can take a little while to recover, but strength training or just training in general is a great way to recover that tissue. You just have to start off light, make sure you start within a range of motion that is possible for you, scale it up, and people come back from stuff like that all the time. So certainly not a death sentence. I'm very into like WWE wrestling, and there's one YouTuber named Eric Bugenhagen. He posts crazy lifts, really strong guy. He's actually currently an American Gladiator for the show American Gladiators, the new season coming up. He got a job as one of the gladiators. He's been fired from WWE since he started there, but he actually had a wicked quad injury, tore the quadricep right off the knee joint basically, and he's back to squatting, he's back to deadlifting, he's back to doing everything that he was prior to the injury. But you'd think with an injury like that his lifting career would be toast, but the body is super resilient and really impressive when you push it. All right, set number 3. Well, we hit level 70. Don't ignore me, mate. Drunken dwarf. I'm afraid I'm gonna ignore you, Mr. Dwarf Man. Look at that, 70, 70, 70. We did it. Fun fact in RuneScape. These go up to level 99. And 70 might feel like a decent stretch of the way there. But in regards to actual experience total, halfway to 99 is level 92. Isn't that crazy? Halfway to level 99 in RuneScape is level 92. We got a long ways to go. With that white font, I'm wondering if I should put something black on this wall here. Might be a good idea. Something with some color even. A couple flags. Probably be able to see that chat a bit better. And then, I don't really remember what I incline bench last week. And I can't remember if I wrote it down or not.
Hey, bro.
But I want to say it was 140. You would use something translucent. Oh, you're just saying like a digital translucent? Yeah, like a grayed out kind of... It comes standard with a gray box, and you can change the opacity, I think is the correct word for it. And I like when the opacity is all the way to 0. I like it without the gray box around it. But I do want to be able to read it as well too. So I'm talking about just like hanging something on this back wall. Because like the stuff around the bottom here, you can see decent. And then this stuff is the stuff that gets harder to read. So I think if this concrete wall was anything other than the color concrete, it'd be a little easier to see. Because like for example, when we're on this screen, you have no problem reading that. Even this one's pretty easy to read, honestly. It's just for some reason in this light, which is our main page, looks harder to read to me. I don't know. Because yeah, I just don't like the gray box constantly in there. Okay, let's use get our last set of legs up benching, and then we'll go into incline work. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna do 155. I think we'll do 155. That sounds about right. See how that goes over. Clean up after myself. Oh, there we go. There's our cat. How's it going, Miss London? How's it going, baby? Okay, now I think the last time I set these, I set them to there and that felt high. So I think I'll set them to here. And I think that'll be a little bit better. Even that still feels high. It's a big drop. It's probably gonna feel low now. If there was one notch there, that'd be better. But there isn't. So I think we're gonna have to go with that. Actually, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually perfect. And I think we should probably put on our shoes. Actually get some grip on the ground. Because, yeah, I think shoes are actually a bigger deal than people make them out to be, especially on bench press. A few years ago, barefoot training really took off. A lot of people were squatting without shoes, a lot of people were deadlifting without shoes, and that all makes sense. It really teaches your foot how to root into the ground, how to grip the ground, and the rest of your body aligns upwards from your feet, so having a good strong foot is really important. In bench press in particular, one of the hardest skills to teach is actually leg drive. And when you're not wearing shoes during the bench press and attempting to improve your leg drive, it is tougher to grip the ground without a flat sole, a grippy sole. And especially lifting in socks, your feet tend to slide around. So when you actually have your shoes, it's much easier to root your feet in the ground, grip them, drive your legs into the ground as you're bench pressing, as opposed to just letting them kind of slide all around when you're just wearing socks rather. Okay. What do we say? 155, 3 sets of 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll do one more warm-up set here. $155 might be a bit tough. Try it anyway. All right. So, 3 sets of 8. Reps are starting to go up. After bench press, I'm pretty sure we're doing pull-ups. Yeah, we're gonna do some pull-ups, good mornings, and lat pull-downs, and that'll kind of be the end of the workout. So yeah, we're gonna be here till 10. Things are starting to move along now. We don't need to take as long a rest breaks now that we're into the accessory work. Things should really start moving here. Ugh. Perfect. There you go, 1 of 3 done. Wait, what time is it in Ottawa? We are not in Ottawa, we're here in Saskatchewan. I think Ottawa would be 3 hours ahead of myself right now, so it's gotta be just past midnight in Ottawa. They're usually about 3 hours ahead of me. So it's 9:15 where I'm at. So Ottawa's got to be about 12:15 right now. I'm kind of right in the middle of Canada, so like we're just above the Dakotas, basically. Minnesota, Dakotas. So whatever time zone those guys are in, that's where I would be. All good. All good. I mentioned Saskatchewan. Maybe that's in the same vein as Ottawa. No, Saskatchewan's much smaller. Ottawa's the city of Ottawa. Ottawa is just a city, and I think that the city of Ottawa is about 3 times the size of my province of Saskatchewan, which is the equivalent of your guys' states. I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan, so half thinking still pretty good. Half thinking still pretty good. That's better than most people nowadays. You let ChatGTP do the other half of your thinking, and that's a full brain right there. All right, Mr. Bo, what are you doing? You're in Regina. You definitely heard our uncouth jokes about Regina. The name of the city, Regina. I've heard a couple jokes about Regina. I'm not joking in the slightest. A few years back, the city, the actual city, released a marketing campaign where it was titled Regina, the city that rhymes with fun. And that advertising campaign, I think, lasted about a week before they decided it was a little too vulgar and pulled it. How hard is it to get in? What do you mean by get in? Duh. There we go. I'm also only using half my brain. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Alyssa and I were actually in Mexico in December, and we ended up talking to a younger couple from Wisconsin, and we were saying we were from Regina, and she had not heard of the city before, and she let us say the word maybe 4 or 5 times before she kind of just stopped. And she said, okay, I need to like stop and ask, like, what word are you saying? And her husband knew the name of the city. He had heard it before, and he kind of gave her a hard time for for being a little goofy about it. But we got kind of all kinds of weird names. I actually grew up in a city called Prince Albert, and that's got other innuendos associated with it as well too. That one might be a little bit worse than Regina. You've heard Regina, yeah. Prince Albert is where I'm from. Oh. Two down, one to go. That one I haven't heard of, but yeah, that one's a little much. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Why not, I guess? They gotta have a list of all the weird town names out there somewhere, because I'm sure there's a bunch of weird ones. Lititz. I like that one. I could visit Lititz. Just did. Hopefully they still let me stream after this. It's not Lititz? I feel like it should be Lititz. Lititz. So the T is silent. Or Lititz. It's a borough in Pennsylvania. Lititz was founded by members of the Moravian Church in 1756 and was named by German form of name of the Lititzi Castle in Bohemia. Lititz was one of the 4 leading Moravian communities in Pennsylvania, the other 3 being Bethlehem, Emmaus, and Nazareth. Very biblical. Huh. Fun fact of the day. I don't even know what you're talking about now. I'm not Googling that one. That is a town in Wales? I don't know about that. Okay, now I have to. Copy. Refers to a town in Wales with the longest official place name in the United Kingdom in Europe. The town is known for its extremely long name, which is often shortened to Landfair PG. Dang. That's just silly. 58 letters. It's a Victorian-era publicity stunt designed to attract tourists. Did they attract tourists? Is it actually that big of a place? Population's 3,000. Tourists are going to go there. Huh. all kinds of fun facts. Okay, let's do our last set here. Did I get it on camera? Did I videotape any of this? I think I might. So that I remember I did 155. I didn't. Yeah, we probably can add some more weight next session. That seemed pretty reasonable. All right, on to pull-ups, and then we'll finish up with good mornings and lat pull-downs, which I think will be a good way to pump up the back for the end of the workout. That actually sounds pretty good. Haven't done good mornings for a while though, so I think I might need to keep those pretty light. All right. All right, how long have we been lying for? 2 hours. We're going slow today. We are going very slow today. Didn't think we were. That's all right though. They do say that streams should last about 3 hours long, so day 2 tends to be one of my longer workouts, so I suppose this isn't a bad workout to bring to stream. Gives us some extra time to hang out. So pull-ups next. One thing that I like about the way Coach currently has pull-ups programmed is that he just gives me a number. 20 pull-ups, get the pull-ups done, you figure out the sets and reps, so to speak. A lot of the time, if you say 3 sets of 10 and you do 10 reps the first set, you do 10 reps the second set, and then you don't get 10 reps the third set, it kind of feels like you failed or you didn't get your work in, which is kind of true. But when you just get prescribed a specific amount of reps, like let's say instead of 3 sets of 10, you get 30 reps. Now you can do those 30 reps in any combination that you'd like. You don't want to dog it. You want to get your actual reps in, but I certainly like it mentally more to just get a number of pull-ups prescribed and get that number in no matter how many sets it takes you. So we might as well get some in, I guess, eh? And I do like leaving a few reps left in the tank. That way it's easier to recover from. I don't need to take as long sets, so call that 7. If I do 7, 7, 6, you can get it in 3 sets. We'll see. So I am going to have to go into work tomorrow. I still have 18 more boxes of flooring. 18 times 25. Still have 450 square feet to install tomorrow, which is a pretty big number for a Saturday, especially since I'll be working tomorrow night at the bar, so it'll make for a long day. Luckily, the square feet that I'm doing is pretty open. I got through all the doorways and around the corners and all that crap today, so I didn't get much square footage done today, but it was a difficult section of square footage, so that tends to be how it works. I'm in construction. Yeah, I own my own flooring installation company, so I install floors is what I do. I mostly do floors. I sometimes do some other stuff. I use my logo for my flooring company as well too. It's all Hart Flooring and Renovations, so I do that. I have a contract with the city here, and I mostly work on lower income housing, apartment buildings, group homes, things like that. It's really good work because it's regular. They always have floors to do. It's government, which means they pay regularly. There's no chasing people down to get paid for the work you do, and you don't have to deal with customers. That's maybe one of the biggest blessings about it. Your only customer is the city of Regina. A lot of the times when you're dealing direct with a homeowner, for example, not that I do bad work, but that homeowner has so much more emotional investment in their house, and they tend to just complicate the matter. Whereas when I'm just doing apartments and stuff like that, it's kind of the same units over and over again. Your uncle did that for industrial flooring, yeah. It's good work, it's good money. Industrial flooring, probably great money actually. I haven't done too much of that. I don't have the equipment for that. That's also one of the nice things about it. I'm in year 2 of the business. Before I started this business, I was managing a golf course. So it's kind of a big career pivot, but it was a good entry point, and I didn't need a lot of equipment to do the type of flooring that I'm doing now. So it was a good opportunity at the time, and still is. Bought a house, paying the mortgage, have enough flexibility in my schedule that I can be streaming and doing stuff like this in my free time, whereas, let's put it right now, if I was managing the golf course currently still, I wouldn't be here at home right now. You're basically married to the golf course all summer long. Very fun job, but we had a golf course, we had a pool, we had over 300 campsites, we had a wedding venue, so it was a really big operation. And a lot of stuff going on, and you kind of just need to be there. The trade-off was winters were really slow, because obviously you can't golf in the winter. All the campsites are closed in the winter. The wedding venue was closed in the winter because it wasn't winterized correctly. So all of that was nice because I could hang out in winter and not take life too seriously, but you paid for it in the summer. And it's funny that you say your uncle did it, because my uncle's actually who got me into it as well too. So I still work with and for him at times. I do subcontracting under him because he's still doing flooring. But he's almost retired now, so when he's out of the game, I'm probably going to pick up a lot more business as well too. Yeah. So we'll finish that up with one more set of pull-ups, and then we'll move into our last two exercises of the day. We got some lighter good mornings and some lat pull downs. We're just gonna keep on pumping up the back here for the end of the day. And then we'll call it a stream. So maybe about 20, 25 more minutes here. If you want to chat at the end here and ask any more questions, we're good to do that too. I'll keep hanging out. I'm not too tired yet. But overall, it's been a good workout. Energy's still been really good through all of our workouts. I am going to need to eat. Definitely going to need to eat. I find that my weight's already starting to head down, which is not good. That's one thing about powerlifting programs. Weight is one of the best ways to see your likelihood to keep on making progress. Although I'm in here lifting heavy, doing a lot of work, you'd think you'd be gaining muscle and building and adding weight, which I could be doing if I was eating enough, but I really do have a hard time eating enough. I'm already eating, several meals a day. Getting in a decent amount of calories, but it is hard to be consistent with getting food in for me, honestly. I've never had that large of an appetite. That's why I don't even look like I lift. Because I've trained hard for a good period of time. If I had my nutrition dialed in, I'd probably look the part a little bit more. Me either, man. Eating's hard. Eating's really hard. Too easy to eat crap because there's so much crap available, and hard to eat the right amount. Some people have a hard time eating not enough, and other people have a hard time eating too much. It just depends on your natural appetite. Everyone's kind of dealing with their own struggles. But you're a snacker. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. The only way to really prevent it is not having snacks in the house, but it's also nice to have snacks in the house. I'm a big 7-Eleven guy. I'm a sucker for a Slurpee. Like grabbing a bag of candy. Not much of a chocolate guy, but... And in general, I'm more of a savory person. I really like salty snacks. That's generally what I prefer, but... still like to stop by 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. Do you call them Slurpee in the States? Or are they called like a slushie or something else like that? All right, 6 more reps. Excellent. Slurpee is trademarked in 7-Eleven. Okay, they call it a Slurpee down there. I actually drove by 7-Eleven today, and apparently it was 7-Eleven day. They had balloons up, they were giving out free drinks, they had a bunch of deals on all their convenience store food. Because they've actually been doing a lot more of that recently here in Canada. Like, I can remember a few years ago, you might be able to get taquitos, you might be able to get nachos, But now they have like a full spread of food, because they're also on like the food delivery apps and stuff like that now. So I feel like people are ordering stuff from 7-Eleven a lot more. Slurpee is trademarked by 7-Eleven, but anywhere else here it's called a slushie. Yeah, kind of called something different everywhere. Slushie makes sense, Slurpee makes sense to 7-Eleven. Certain convenience stores growing up, they'd mix it with soft serve ice cream and it would be called either an iceberg or what else would they call it? I can't remember. I think I knew it as an iceberg. Did you ever do that? Soft serve and slush? Okay, well I guess we'll get the good morning set up and lat pull downs. And we'll superset that. And I think I'm just gonna do 95 pounds for the good morning, which really isn't enough weight. But I think it's gonna be a good stretch and it's gonna feel good to wrap up the day. Although I should double check what kind of rep scheme he has me doing. I wanna say he has sets of 6, which would indicate he probably wants me to do it a little heavier. Never have it, but it sounds good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, sometimes smaller gas stations, they'll have soft serve and they'll have slush. If you ever find a gas station like that, just mix them together. It's delicious. Yeah, he wants me to do 3 sets of 6. Ugh. I'll add weight if I can. Go with a wider grip. Maybe try a wider grip. Oh, I'm gonna have to slide that down on my back way more. Haven't done a good morning in forever. That'll be better. Whew. Yeah, we can add a little weight. Okay. Let's add 10 pounds there. And let's add 20 pounds here. Two more sets. I'll be ready to be done. I'm getting hungry. Now that we started talking about slushes. Now I'm hungry. How about this guy? He's slacking, as is tradition. All right. So very good stream. Appreciate hanging out again, Huffle. We'll be back next Friday for the foreseeable future. I'm gonna have to decide what I want to do starting early September. If I should stream on a Wednesday or something like that before I go on vacation, or if I should just pre-record something and upload it to YouTube, because I'd still like to maintain the Friday upload schedule on YouTube in particular. I could stream earlier on Twitch, record it, and then schedule it to upload on Fridays, because I actually got 2 trips booked in September. First weekend of September, I'm heading to Boston for a football game. I'm going to check out the Patriots home opener. It'll be my first time to the United States. I'm really excited. And then third week of September, I'm going to Mexico for a friend's wedding. We're going to be there for the full week. And that's going to be a heck of a time. And I'm certainly not going to be streaming from Mexico because we're going to be having too much fun. So I'm going to have to figure something out. I think I'll probably schedule some uploads to YouTube, and I maybe will double up on some Twitch streams on some different days. So I'll let you guys know closer to the date what our makeup streams are going to be. Because I do want to stay consistent with the frequency at the very least, if I can't stay consistent with the schedule. You're not going to be able to do every Friday throughout the entire year. At least I'm not going to be. I would prefer to get a little bit of life in. All right. Ugh. Ugh. One last set. Last set, best set. Last set, best set, as they say. It's been a good night. Great way to end the week. Had a good crowd in today. We got our level 70. We got our level 70 in RuneScape, which is good. I'm really gonna have to decide where I want to go. I guess I can just keep doing this. My one friend who's been watching a lot of my streams offline and giving me feedback is really into RuneScape. And he really thinks that I should do a RuneScape stream maybe once a month. Because he seems to think that there'll be some crossover as far as fans go, which could be right. I could do a little bit of other RuneScape things. I'm not very good at RuneScape though, so I don't know if anyone wants to watch me with that, but we could do some other fun stuff. We could do some questing. Could do some boss battling. I don't really do that very often, so I'd be pretty bad at it, so that could make for some good content. See me die a few times. That is a possibility. I actually really like to do the agility course in the wilderness, which is fun because if you die, you lose everything, but if you make it out alive, you get the bag. But can be dangerous. Okay. Last set of the day. Okay, we are going to wrap it up here. We'll unload the barbell. See if anyone has any last minute comments or questions. Oh, good day. Do I look any bigger? Probably not. Okay. Well, Hoffel, thank you so much for being here. If it weren't for you today, the chat would have been awfully quiet. I enjoyed hanging out with you. Enjoyed learning all of the fun new city names I never knew anything about. Not yet, but give it time. Yeah. Yeah, it'll take a while. You're right. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to call it there, get some food in. I'll be back next Friday if you're around and watching. Would love to see you back next Friday, but if not, we'll see you in the future sometime, I'm sure. You have a good week. Do lots of digging. Hopefully you get a lot built and accomplished in Minecraft. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.